Welcome to Health Professionals Outside the Box podcast. In this series, I'll be talking to health professionals who've leveraged their professional skills to pursue alternative income sources, alternative careers, and entrepreneurship. We will gain insight into their motivations, experiences, and challenges, and learn how we too can carve our own path to finding purpose, fulfillment, and financial freedom. I'm your host, Fee. Thank you for listening. So welcome back to this episode of the podcast. Joining me today as a guest is Claire Mockridge. She's a pelvic floor and niche marketing expert. She teaches fitness professionals and physiotherapists a full body approach to managing pelvic floor dysfunction so that they can provide their own clients with long-term relief from their symptoms. She also offers a digital course teaching health professionals how to attract clients and market themselves. Claire is also a podcast host of the Pelvic Preneur Podcast. Claire, welcome.
Hi there. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm super excited to actually chat to you today.
Oh, it's good to have you on the show. So Claire, tell us about yourself and your professional background.
Sure. Gosh, do you want the short version?
Whatever's suitable for you.
Okay. Well, I've been working in fitness for 15 years and fitness and Pilates instructor, niche down to pregnancy and postnatal instruction. Then I kind of found really the full body approach because I had, are you ready for this? 5 years of foot pain.
5 years?
And yeah, 5 years of foot pain. And I was like desperate to get out of that like well that I dug or hole that I dug myself. And I then sort of found actually a different approach to coming out of foot pain. And that's actually sort of the springboard to where I am now, which is pelvic floor dysfunction and the full body approach. As you mentioned, they're kind of in the intro. And so, yeah, been in fitness 15 years and I actually quit teaching my fitness and Pilates classes in December 2019. That is pre-COVID, people. It's like I had a premonition. It's like I woke up and I was like, I don't think 2020 is going to be the best year. I'm getting out before. And I actually had been teaching teachers in various forms of abdominal separation. That's your diastasis recti that often happens post-birth. And I actually kind of really found the full body approach to pelvic floor dysfunction really simple, effective. And a lot of my clients actually got very good long-term lifetime results. And so that's when I kind of created my Your Pelvic Matters teacher training program. And I've actually been working online for a long time. Like, you know, when your Facebook memories come up and they go like, here's a webinar that you did 6 years ago. Yeah, I've been doing this for a while.
Okay. So what prompted you to, stop treating clients face-to-face? And go online?
Well, yeah, as I said, I've kind of been doing it for 15 years.
Oh,
and
right.
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday evening. I have no idea what was on television for the last 15 years because I was constantly teaching. And yeah, it's weird actually, because when I started my business, I kind of, a lot of people in my family are hard grafters, they're all self-employed. And I felt like creating a fitness business was going to give me freedom. And actually it didn't. Because I had to turn up and teach, even though I didn't want to, every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday evening, and had personal training clients and that sort of thing as well. And it kind of, for me, became a bit of a means to an end. It was very difficult for me to decide to leave, but in the background, for 8 years prior to that decision, I had actually had this other arm to my business to serve the pre and postnatal sort of instructors out there. Then I specialized a little bit more in kind of abdominal separation. Then now it's with my Your Pelvic Matters teacher training program. So yeah, I'm kind of fortunate that I always had sort of like two businesses going. But yeah, I guess long term look, this is going to sound really horrible, but I didn't want to be an old fitness instructor.
So if you were... So reflecting back, do you think you made a good decision?
Absolutely, yeah. It was possibly the most arduous decision I've ever made in my life and in business. It was not easy. Anyone who has done a group exercise, your clients are so incredibly loyal and it just feels like you're losing a limb. Genuinely feels like your arm's being cut off when you walk away. It was really, really difficult for me to do that. But I knew that, the future was me sort of giving back to the, fitness and Pilates community and training trainers to market and sell and give them permission to have a niche as well. Because a lot of times we sort of think that generalizing is good, but actually no, specializing is better. To be known as the local person who deals with pelvic floor dysfunction, for example, is a pretty good situation to be in. So niching, yeah.
Yes, I think if you can compare it to going to a specialist, maybe an eye specialist, a cardiologist. They are revered, aren't they, because of their knowledge and the wealth of experience that they have.
Yeah.
And so what services do you offer?
Yeah, sure. So I have my Your Pelvic Matters teacher training program, which, as I say, there is the full body approach to pelvic floor dysfunction. And I have various other offerings as well. So if you have a niche client group, for example, that you would like to serve online via like a course or a membership or a program of some description, there's my Take Your Niche Online course. And also I'm kind of passionate really about people charging better, setting boundaries and attracting a higher level one-to-one client as well. So I have also sort of services in converting more one-to-one niche clients as well.
Okay. How do you attract your clients?
Yeah, well, I think the best way of attracting clients is to really sort of step into their shoes. And one of the most beneficial ways of doing that is surveying them, asking them questions, engaging with them on social media. One step further than that, though, would actually be to jump on a Zoom call and ask them a series of questions. Ask them what their struggles are, ask them what their pain points are, ask them what their deep desires are. And that way then you can really sort of get to know them on a more sort of emotional, deeper level, and you then create stuff that they need that fills those knowledge gaps. Because there's nothing worse than putting your blood, sweat and tears into creating an online course, and then you open the doors and then nobody buys. It's just crickets. You want to avoid that. You want to avoid that situation. And this happens more often than you think, actually. So, if I can just stress this again, ask your clients questions, very deep questions, actually.
Be more specific. So do you work on your business full-time or part-time?
Well, it's interesting, actually, because I've got a pretty good work-life balance, in fairness. My partner works for the emergency services, so he's on shifts. So he's on nights tonight. But just to cut a very long story short, it's kind of like a 4-day on, 4-day off system. So the 4 days that he's working, I'm working. The 4 days that he's not working, I'm not working. So that's kind of how that works.
Oh, nice. So you have free time then to spend together and also catch up with day to day. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we know that due to COVID, most service-based businesses have had to pivot to an online model. In your opinion, what are some of the key strategies that you think people should be investing their time or money in right now to strengthen their online presence?
I think investing time and money learning like sophisticated social media strategy is important, really, because I'm a big fan of like being up to speed with like the different features of Instagram, for example. Instagram's my thing. I have a Facebook page, but it's a bit like a tumbleweed. You know, when you post something, it's like you might get one like, and it's like, okay, I'm switching my focus over to Instagram. Yeah, it's kind of like sometimes a little bit friendlier over on Instagram, perhaps as well. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I would recommend social media strategy. So within Instagram itself, for example, it changes, new features appear. So at the moment, like at the time of recording, reels are like huge. They're getting lots of reach. Carousel posts on the Instagram feed. So if you don't know what that is, a carousel post is like, you know, where you sort of click on someone's, it's like a post, one picture is just a feed post, and then you can kind of swipe left. And then you see that there's actually 3 or 4 different photos or tiles, as they're called. A bit like a kind of PowerPoint presentation, isn't it, really? So wow, that's me. Yes, double click. And then there'll be a call to action of some description. So reels and carousel posts are really hot on Instagram right now. So if you didn't know that, Can you see how actually you have to be ahead of the trend? And so I also am a big fan of going all in with one social media platform as opposed to like spreading yourself thin.
And so why do you think that's more advisable?
I think you can, as I said, you can kind of spread yourself thin, and it's a lot of time, because what ends up happening is if you're trying to be on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, that's a lot of time wasted on 3 platforms where you get like a teeny bit of traction. Whereas if you lead all of your audience over to one platform, they know that's the place where you hang out. And that's where the place where they'll connect with you. And that's where all your good, amazing free content is.
And also I think
you get very good at it.
Yeah, you might run the risk of losing focus, I guess, if you are on many platforms.
Yeah, well, it's just, yeah, exactly as well. It's just like your service almost becomes like diluted because you're not showing up, or like it's so like inconsistently showing up. That's not a strategy, people. So yeah, there's that. But also another thing that I think not many people do is what we're doing here. Guesting on people's podcasts. It's a huge opportunity for you to actually get your message out to somebody else's audience, or even like appearing in the local newspaper or writing for a fitness magazine or something like that. Yeah, don't just think that social media is the only place that you can get clients, because it's actually quite possible to have that ripple effect of getting your, spreading your message to others via other platforms, sort of as well. What
sort of content do you think, examples of content, should you think people should be considering sharing on the platforms in order to add value to customers without necessarily trying to sell them a service or a product?
Okay, well, I'm a big fan. One of my catchphrases, if I'm fair with you, is people buy from people. And it is so true. You will notice when you post a selfie of yourself, then it will actually get more likes, it will get more engagement, and it probably will get more interaction and reach. So I don't know the correct stat, but it's something like 60 to 70% of posts on the Instagram feed with a person in them perform better than if it's just got words, or if it's like a random picture of a pelvis or a foot or something like that. Okay. And so, yeah, you want to kind of make sure that you are doing selfies, however much you don't like taking photographs of yourself. But yeah, people buy from people. So it becomes like, if you kind of imagine like someone's feed is just book onto my pregnancy exercise class, and the next one is I'm doing a workout today, or here's a free workout video, or look at my amazing lunch. Well, no one wants to see a perfect personal trainer. They want to see the person. They want to see behind the scenes stuff, and they want to get to know you as a person as well. So it's kind of important, as I say, like to do the selfies and then a story. So sometimes actually, kind of like a selfie works, but also something that's entertaining. I'm kind of guessing that, you kind of have an idea that I've got a relatively good sense of humor, sometimes edging on sarcasm there. But if something funny happened, it's an idea, it's an opportunity for you to actually post that, and then the story behind that. One of my most recent highest performing posts on Instagram was the fact that my podcast is now turned 1 year old. So is there something that you could celebrate? What was the birth date of your business? Have you updated your skills and got like that renewal of the educational certificate? Have you, I don't know, like there's lots of, when's your dog's birthday? Like genuinely, you got a pet, stick it on your Instagram, okay? Like people need to kind of connect with you on, as I say, kind of more on that sort of personal level. So yeah, I'm giving you some tips there. You want to sort of like personal stuff, entertainment, funny sort of things will bring your audience out. And also like something that you can provide like connection with your audience as well. And that goes down to like really knowing your client a lot deeper. So for example, like I deal with pelvic floor dysfunction and pelvic floor teacher trainers, right? So Here's a good question. Pelvic model, with or without muscles? Because we could go for a debate forever on that one, couldn't we, really? And it's personal choice. Some pelvic floor experts will be greedy and have both pelvic models in their clinic. But can you see how, like, I'm just like,
it's engaging. It's engaging.
It is, yeah. And people can't help but comment. And you want comments on your posts. Another post that I put up, foot pain angle, all right? So I have transitioned into minimalist barefoot shoes. And I have these like Wellington boots from a particular company, and they've got holes in. Okay. So I'm like, I know. And it's like, you need the wellies this time of year. So yeah, I just posted up a photo with the holes in and a couple of arrows pointing, and just went, help. How do I fix the holes? You have no idea. 80 comments.
Oh, really? Wow.
I'm not joking. Yeah.
Something as simple as that.
Something as simple as that. Yeah. But I know that my audience, most of them have probably transitioned into barefoot shoes. They know my foot pain story, and they know the struggle is real when the boots that you want to wear in the winter have holes in. So they came out to the rescue.
So that ties in nicely with identifying what your client needs, what your audience needs, as you said earlier on. Very good points there, Claire. I was on a website called Statista. I was just doing some research, and it revealed that the most common search terms, common and highest search terms during the pandemic last year, 2020, were the words free online training, indicating that a lot of people are, keen to learn new skills. What examples of skills should people learn, or training courses that you think people should, consider taking that might be useful prior to starting a business?
So are you kind of sort of saying like, what would some of the essential things that they should do to like transition onto online?
Yes, online.
Yeah. So yeah, I think actually some of the essential things that you need to think about really is like the basic tech. You have to understand how Zoom works. You have to be prepared, to move a little bit with the times. I think I've been online for a long time, like 8 years. I'm not joking. All right. So I was streaming live across the world a very long time ago. So tech is a big barrier, I know, for fitness professionals who have done in-person services for hundreds of years. And it is huge, but embracing technology as best you can. I think understanding that perfectionism isn't profitable is as well. So you could sort of like perfectionism kind of actually sometimes stems from past. So maybe as a child, you were sort of like, you did a piece of homework and then a parent or a teacher at school said, that's not good enough, do it again. So unpacking that is useful, but perfectionism also holds you back in so many different ways. So you got to ask yourself, well, if I'm not going to go online now, when will I? No one on their deathbed says, oh, I wish I'd worked harder. They all sort of say, no, I wish I'd actually worked less. So yeah, it's kind of moving with the times a little bit there. So embracing technology, I would say, and just getting over the perfectionism. Also, like if you think back to some of the like successful people in your industry, in your niche, they may have like the whole like video and production and audio, amazing scene right now with their videos, but they all started somewhere. You go and check them out on YouTube from circa 2003. They started with the very basic sort of stuff, and we all have to start somewhere.
Sure.
So yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Sure. And so you have a course called a digital course, and it's called Take Your Digital Course Online.
That's it. Yeah.
Can you tell us more about it and what prompted you to create it?
Yeah, well, it was kind of weird actually, because I just quit my classes, and then I literally did this. I jumped on Zoom with about 10 people. And
so you quit your classes, was this pre-pandemic?
It was, yeah, it was
okay.
December 2019. And so throughout that month, I jumped on Zoom with a few people, 10 people it was actually. So I spent, good 10 hours of my time taking information, gathering market research from people. And these were just random people. They might have been a fitness, Pilates, pelvic floor physios, those types of people. And the two things that these people had as like commonalities was they all had a niche client group and they all wanted an online business. Take Your Niche Online was therefore born. So what it is an 8-week course where there are 8 modules, and it talks you through how to identify your client group, how to market to them, how to price the course, how to run the course as well. So do you want a Facebook group or do you just want it as a standalone, refunds, terms and conditions, all the it's like a turnkey kind of operation, I suppose, there really. So it just walks you through step by step how to take your niche online.
I think what attracts most people to creating an online course is the passive income opportunity. However, from what I understand, it's not as simple as it sounds. So I've spoken to a few health professionals, though, with the wealth of knowledge and experience that are considering going to the online platform. What questions do you think they should be asking themselves when considering creating a course?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to repeat myself again, but the number one question is there a market for it? Because you don't want to be like a teacher trainer that went through one of my courses a year or so ago who had created a course which had, are you ready? 156 videos in it.
That's a lot of videos, significant amount.
And I don't really know whether any postnatal mother has the time to look through 156 videos. So make sure there's a market for it first. And when you do that market research, when you ask your clients questions, you then get a bit more of an idea on how much time they have to commit to the course, so to speak there, and also like a little bit of an idea on what to include in your course and also what to exclude as well. Many people create courses that are incredibly sophisticated and complicated. So always go back to keep it simple, stupid, the KISS method, because simplicity is sometimes kind of underrated. What I do with pelvic floor dysfunction, I'll give my clients 5 exercises, no more, in their very first personal training appointment with me. Because if I give them too many more, they get overwhelmed and they don't do their homework. So yeah, definitely ask you, the first question would be, is there a market for it? And then another thing to think about as well, you don't just like create a course willy-nilly. Where does that course fit in your overall business model? So is it entry level? Is it like a £27, €27 course? Or that's like less than your personal, I'm hoping that's a lot less than your personal training. If anyone's listening to this and they're charging £27 an hour for the personal training, please get in touch. I will talk you through how to price your services more effectively. But yeah, I'm hoping that it would be more than that, but it could be entry level, but perhaps it's actually something that's more as a progression. So maybe someone's done a Zoom kind of exercise class of some description with you, then they've highlighted that they have diastasis recti, abdominal separation or something, yeah? And then you go, oh, here's my amazing course, which is slightly more expensive than the classes that they've just done with you, but it gives them that support after the taster in-person type stuff.
Right.
Or so that's another sort of good business decision to make as well. Where does it fit? Is it entry level? Is it halfway through? Or is it the end? Because actually end could be as well. Because if you think about the customer journey, perhaps like pregnancy and postnatal is a good example. So clients used to join my pregnancy classes, then come back to me, mum and baby, then eventually they move into my mainstream classes. So maybe you want just an exercise library of all of your Zoom classes or something like that are good for the general population who came to you from pregnancy and postnatal sessions or something like that. So yeah, there's many ways of doing that. And the other thing I would look at as well is, before creating a course, is it doesn't have to be perfect first time. As well. So I'm a big fan. Will your audience know what a beta launch is? Or shall I explain
No, probably not.
Okay, so a beta launch is one of my favorite things to do. So it's basically where you would turn up on a Monday night every 7 o'clock, or you're in control of this. You choose what day, what time it is, and you deliver education and or exercise, whatever your field of expertise is, on Zoom. PowerPoint presentation optional. Okay. And you deliver the course to the participants in that style. So it's basically like a little bit of trial and error. So you've obviously got to like plan out your 6-week, 8-week, 12-week course, and you turn up every week with just layering in the education and information. But it's taught live, and people know that this is the first time that you've delivered this course, and they know that there might be a couple of little bumps in the road there. But I tell you what, if you ever get the opportunity of booking on someone's beta or introductory course the first time they're running it, grab it, because I tell you what happens, you get amazing service from that course provider because you're getting that interaction with them. Can you see how there's a difference between just logging in to someone's pre-recorded, polished course? It's all a bit, there's not that much connection. There's not opportunity for you to ask questions as well. Do you see what I mean? So that's what a beta introductory course is. So I would always recommend that you do a trial run first with some guinea pigs already who pay you just a little bit less than you would do once it's all like whiz-bang ready, because you then iron out all the kinks and you get all the things in the right order. And you start taking stuff out or modifying. That's it.
That's useful to know. It's useful to know. So you're getting that feedback before you actually launch final version.
Yeah, the polished version. However, I can say as well that many courses actually remain as the beta version because they were so good. So if you do a good enough version of it the first time round, why if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Don't fix it.
You know what I mean? So you actually get paid to create the course. You see what I mean?
You're
getting money before you
actually launch it.
Yeah. So it's a phrase, I think it's James Wedmore uses, monetize before you make it. There you go.
Okay. And so on the subject of monetizing, we touched on a point earlier on regarding pricing. So in my interactions with other physios, I've heard people talk about how the difficulties of pricing their services. So that conversation is very challenging for most health professionals. What factors should we be considering when thinking about pricing an online course?
Yeah, I feel like this could be a whole podcast interview itself.
Is it?
It could be, but I will give you the Whistlestop tour. Okay. There is definitely definitive research out there to suggest that there is a sales psychology attached to numbering. So numbers sell. All right. So let's just think about the last thing that you purchased online. It probably ended in a 7 or a 9. So was it 67 euros? Was it 99 Canadian dollars? Was it 697 pounds? So people like 7s and 9s. So what I do is, what I would recommend, I'm going to give you the tiered system and then you just roll with it. All right. As long as it ends in a 7 or a 9, I would price your course at either 27, 47, 67, or 97. If it's worth more than that, you just repeat the process and add the hundreds. 127, 147, 167, 197.
Oh, I see.
My job here is done.
Yeah.
Well, when something is 97 or 67, it doesn't feel like 100.
I guess so.
And it doesn't feel like 70.
So even though there's no significant difference, I guess it sounds cheaper.
It does, yeah. Just so it can either end, it could be 69 or 67 or 99 or 97. But yeah, just go up in those increments 2, 4, 6, 9, and you can't really sort of go wrong with that. The other thing I would do with pricing as well is I would always offer an early bird price for the first time you launch something, or to, you can put people on a waiting list for example, I am thinking of creating this amazing course. You've obviously done the market research prior to this going out, and then you set up a waiting list, through your email service provider, and you start collecting names. All right. 100 would be amazing. That'd be a good goal to go for. If you only get 50, don't cry about it. That's halfway there. All right. So aim low. But I'm just going to say to you that if you can get people onto this waiting list, these are hot leads. These are people like, this person sounds like they know what they're doing. I want to buy from this person. Okay. And so when it comes to doors open, you could offer those people on this waiting list a £20 discount, £30 discount, £50 discount. So say like the full fee of the course would be £127. Offer it to them for £97. Yeah, and they're like, I'm going to buy it now because that's like a couple of quid off. Or 97, and then the full fee goes up to 197. Which one are you going to choose, people? It's going to be the 97. I'm taking action. All right. So pricing definitely, as I said, kind of has a sales psychology to it. And there's definitely some strategy that you can use it's not icky. Everyone does it. Okay. That can actually get people to commit and take action as well. And another thing I will make note of with pricing, if there's access to you, like a Facebook group or opportunities to ask you questions, that is higher touch. So that comes with a higher price point. So don't undervalue the access, because that takes time. If you run a Facebook group and you get like 100 people sign up to your course, again, aim high. That's a lot of people to manage in a Facebook group with questions. So kind of setting the boundaries beforehand. And another way of looking at pricing is like, well, okay, you've got the idea for the course, you've done the market research, you have a bit of an idea on how many people you could manage in the first version of your course. All right. How much do you want to earn? All right. So if you have a figure of, say, £1,000 profit, all right, £1,000 divided by 97 is roughly 10 people. See what I mean? So there's a couple of different ways you can look at pricing.
Yeah, so think about your expenses first, and right, okay.
Look at the end goal and then sort of work backwards from there.
So how do you plan on scaling your business?
Well, I already am, if I'm honest. So, with my Your Perfect Matters teacher training program, it is already on Evergreen. So as long as I keep sending leads into it, so evergreen means the doors are open all the time. So I don't do exhausting live launches very often anymore. That was something that I wanted to step away from in my business. So a live launch is where sometimes you'd have to actually do a runway, which is sort of like, say, 8 to 12 weeks of really good rapport building, community building, good quality content going out on your Instagram feed and in your weekly newsletter to build that rapport, to sort of say that the doors are opening, build that excitement. Yeah. And then you open the doors for 3 or 5 days and then you close them, and then you need to rest for about 15 days because that is exhausting. That the doors open section. Holy mackerel. Yeah. That's it's somewhat exhausting, as I say there, really. And that's something that I wanted to kind of avoid doing. So I've now set up what's called a sales funnel. Basically where you have a lead magnet, which could be something as very, very simple as a PDF file with the 10 top things to do this or whatever, or it could be more sophisticated, like it's a video series, like 3 or 5 videos that are drip fed into this person's inbox. Trying to think of other examples. Yeah, it could be kind of a little tasters of things, again, via video, audio files, those sorts of things. Okay. But you want to sort of give someone something away for free, and that's just what it's called, your lead magnet. So I'm pretty sure everyone's signed up for one. Facebook ads, you'll get them all the time. So you see this amazing like free lead magnet. You enter your name and email address. That freebie is delivered to your inbox, and then you are then sent an email every few days. Yeah. So that's that kind of nurture sequence to actually sell something. So yeah, what a sales funnel is. So mine's actually quite sophisticated. and it's like I gave birth after I set it up. But it's actually for my Your Pelvic Matters teacher training program. So it's a webinar which people watch, and it takes them through all of the steps to do with full body approach to pelvic floor dysfunction. But actually more specifically, it's about how to work the hours you want to work without attracting unmotivated pelvic floor clients who expect instant results.
All right. So have you created that yourself? Did you engage the services?
Yeah, I absolutely had to engage the services of a funnel expert to do that. Yeah. And you know what I find weird in the movement industry, like people spend way too much money on the educational, like anatomy based courses, whereas you need the business skills. You need to be able to sell and market yourself. True. And yet people, you know what I mean? Like they won't invest in their business, yet they'll go and buy another course for £500, which adds another like myofascial release thing to their, string to their bow. It's like, if you've been in the industry for a long time and you are getting your clients' results, I don't necessarily think that you need another anatomy-based course in your life unless you're not getting your clients' results, or your major bugbear is that your clients are not doing their homework. And as I said, that's kind of where my Your Pelvic Matters sort of program slots in there nicely, because it's very simple.
People want things simplified. They don't care about the technical terms, the complicated. It's just, it's explain it to me in a manner that I understand, that makes sense. And is this going to treat my problem? That's all I need to know.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So what has been the most and least satisfying moment in your business?
Yeah, well, as I say, I think actually setting up the proper sales funnel, there are lots of moving parts, from lead pages, a webinar, like this, right? There's so many integrations going on there to make sure that when someone enters their email address, that then the webinar shows up, and then the email sequence kind of goes out from there. So I would say that, yeah, it was, I mean, I've never had children myself, but it did feel like I'd birthed a child after I'd set that up. It was an extremely, like a pinnacle moment, definitely, of my business, sort of thing. And it's something that I can also replicate should I wish to do that as well, because I know I could just do this for some other program.
So you have a blueprint of it now, the exact right.
Yeah. So that's probably like the yay sort of moment. The boo sort of moment would obviously be quitting my classes. That was really hard. Gosh, that was tough. And I think I probably did touch on that earlier, but yeah, it's so difficult to walk away from clients. And I recorded, however, on the flip side to that, I have actually recorded a podcast episode on my own podcast, like 36 reasons why I quit teaching my classes. So I was actually 36 reasons why I quit teaching my fitness classes. So it's,
there's so many reasons,
swings,
Claire.
Yeah, there's swings and roundabouts. Yeah. But I just knew that I wanted to work better hours, be a bit more in control. And it was just, for me, it was just having to turn up. Like all of us have been in that situation where we're on the way to teach a class, and whatever's happening in our personal life, we've got like literally tears streaming down our face, and then we have to open the clinic door or open the community-based hall, whatever it is, and then put a fake smile on your face. And there's only so many hours and times that you can do that. Everyone listening to this can resonate with that situation. Yeah, I just don't think it's good psychologically to keep having to do that. So it's more it's a more energy. It's not even physical energy, is it? Like you can turn up and teach a class with your eyes closed, but sometimes that's sort of like that emotional pull,
like compassion fatigue.
Yes, good. Yes, I like that. That's what it is. So I just had enough, I think. But it was hard, so difficult. Yeah.
Can imagine.
And I still think of my clients often as well, so I wonder what so-and-so is doing now. And it's like, oh, they've got to step away.
True. Detach. So what helps you relax? What do you do to unwind?
Yeah, well, I'm a big fan of walking, actually. So I live in sort of semi-rural Derbyshire here in the UK. So we have plenty of walks on tap not quite at the moment. It's very muddy on the footpaths. But yeah, because I had that foot pain history, walking now is a breeze, whereas it definitely wasn't. So yeah, I do enjoy a good walk in nature and listening to podcasts. I know that sounds really cheesy, but I absorb hours of podcast material in the week. And I'm a bit of I like a Netflix binge. Who doesn't?
I think everyone now is onto Netflix.
Yeah. Queen's Gambit's probably one of my favorite. Have you seen that yet?
No, I've not. No.
Oh gosh,
is that good?
Oh my goodness, yeah, it's one of my favorites so far. It's really good, like binge worthy. Watch that.
Well,
nothing to do with fitness, but it's all to do with chess.
We all have to relax in some ways and do what we enjoy. Well, thank you so much, Claire, for coming on and sharing some nuggets with us, words of wisdom. Where can people connect with you?
Well, I think probably Instagram's the best place to connect with me. So at Claire Mockridge, and you can find links to my various sort of free resources and that sort of stuff. Stories as well. I'm hanging out there most days, and all the links there obviously are to do with my podcast as well. So Pelvic Preneur Podcast.
Okay, I'll put the links at the end of the show notes as well.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh, lovely. Great. Thank you so much, Claire.
It's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to this episode. If you like the podcast, please subscribe, rate it, and review it on iTunes, as this can help others find it. If you'd like updates on the podcast, you can follow the pages on Instagram or Facebook by searching for Well Restorer. If you have any questions or would like to give some feedback, you can send an email to info@wellrestorer.co.uk. Thanks once again. Take care.